Good morning. Welcome to Real Estate Radio Denver, the most informative hour of radio every Saturday right here on News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your host, Tom Souther. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. We've got a great show for you. We're gonna break this down a little bit and move to south west Denver Metro a little bit. I've got a expert that in the real estate market that really works that area. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and going to give you a little bit of a market update again as we normally do. But I want to thank you for tuning in and tell you about what Real Estate Radio is really here to do. And that's here to give you the truth that we feel you're not getting from the national news outlets. The Denver market is unique. It isn't the same as maybe what's happening in other communities. Yes, there are places who are recovering as well as we are, but Denver historically has led that charge, and we're early to fail and early to recover, and we're well on that path. So this show is dedicated to bringing you experts in the community that can help you with those real estate transactions or real estate related transactions. So I'm here to give you some great advice, help you to connect with some true experts in that marketplace. And that's whether you're buying a home, selling, maybe you need some refinance help. I had a caller from last week call in and leave me a message that I spoke with today, or actually a few days ago, that was trying to figure out how to get out of some major debt, and gave him some great help, and quite honestly told him that maybe there was some credit help he needed, and looked at a real estate agent that might help him with selling his house if that was the final choice. There's no pressure in any of these decisions. We would just want to connect you with that right professional. So you might want to grab a pen. I'm going to give you our off-air number, and I want you to write this down and give you a chance to call and communicate with us. That number is 720-515-1818. Again, 720-515-1818. Please also connect with us on Facebook, Real Estate Radio Denver on Facebook, and love to put you on our list to push out who's going to be on the show from week to week and what our topics are. And there's quite a wealth of information that we try to share throughout the week. So let's jump right in, because I want to get this show rolling. I've got two experts in the studio with me, and let's get them introduced. I have Evan Harris. Evan is founder and partner of Homestead Title. Evan, welcome.
Thanks, Tom.
Been a long time.
Glad to be here.
Have been on many times, but it's been a little while. Usually we get your partner Tom Geisen stopping in the studio. So welcome, and I usually give you guys an opportunity to tell us exciting things that are going on in the title industry, but
it's exciting.
I'm not sure there is anything hugely exciting in the title business. It's that secret part of that real estate transaction that everybody has to do that nobody quite understands about how you ensure that they really own the property. So it's a pretty vital piece of that real estate transaction, and I'm glad to have Homestead Title as a partner.
Thank you.
So welcome. Also, I have with me another real estate agent, a gentleman that is new to the show, and his name is Andrew Arevalo. Andrew is with the Ingenious Group. It's a great name. We're going to talk about that a little bit. They are part of Keller Williams out of the Highlands Ranch office, and Andrew really focuses on that southwest Denver metro, Littleton, Highlands Ranch, that kind of part of the world. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
One of the cool things that, your motto and your slogan behind this Ingenious Group is thinking differently, and we want to really kind of emphasize that throughout the what we talk about, that you bring some creativity into that real estate transaction that many don't. And I'm going to lay that groundwork for that for a little later, because first off, I wanted to spend a little bit of time, just as we often do in the show, talking about why now is such a great time. And, I'd love to have your 2 cents there, because we talked a little bit about this before the show. And I have so many people who tell me, well, gosh, I'm going to wait, or I'm going to wait for rates to get better, or I'm going to wait because I think I'll get a better price when more people are selling, or I'm going to get more for my house if I wait for 3 months, or, so many different things. And my argument with them is always now. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, absolutely. What I can share is I'm actually helping my cousin right now that we sat down initially, 3 months ago when rates were really good at that time as they are right now. And we went out, got him under contract for a house, and he noticed his payment went up almost $175. So it was kind of a sticker shock for him.
From when he was originally looking 6 months or so ago.
3 months.
Or 3 months.
3 months ago, yeah. So it's quite drastic what rates have done just even in the last 3 months. And that's a true testimony for sure.
Yeah, and they do fluctuate from, this is what I do. I'm a mortgage professional. It's what I do every day. And, they fluctuate daily, a little bit up, a little bit down. But all in all, they're trending up. And I don't think that's going to stop. Our reality is, and we've given some pretty hard numbers on this in last shows over the last few weeks, but the hard number is the Fed is cutting back on quantitative easing, and they are not going to be writing that $85 billion check every month that keeps these rates artificially low, and they're going to taper that off throughout, I think, the rest of 2014 until it's probably done in 2015. That's what experts would want you to think. And that means rates go up a little bit. I just think that they do. So the cost of money, which is one of the things that I emphasize in any real estate transaction, what you're going to pay for the exact same house now versus later is probably going to be better now than 6 months from now or a year from now.
Or really, if we can just speak frankly, ever.
Ever. Yeah.
I mean, you're right.
No doubt.
This is not going to happen again. And it won't happen for a very long time.
Yeah, and can you argue that, oh gosh, I missed that 3.5% rate? Well, yeah, you did, but get over it and take the great rate that's out there now. Maybe you're in the low fours or mid fours or upper fours, but I know plenty of people who would have killed for that a long time ago. Anyway, we got to take a break. You're listening to Real Estate Radio Denver here on News Talk 710 KNUS. Again, I want to give you that off-air number, so please call us and let me connect you with Andrew, 720-515-1818, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Denver. I'm your host, Tom Souther. Thanks again for tuning in. I've got a great show for you. We're going to jump right back into it. Let me reintroduce my guests. I have Andrew Arevalo with the Ingenious Group with Keller Williams, Highlands Ranch. And I also have Evan Harris with the founder partner of Homestead Title. Guys, welcome back.
Thank you.
And we were just chatting a little bit about, why now, and this is kind of a weekly mission for me to get this message out. Some of the things that I like to talk about in that discussion is that I think keeps people from buying, and we're kind of running off the reservation here a little bit, but the couple of things that I consistently hear about from people that they don't buy, and Andrew, hopefully you can back this up, is, they don't have a down payment, particularly for first-time home buyers. Their credit's horrible. They haven't been working long enough. There's a bunch of issues that swirl around, can I qualify? And I like to shatter I have to have the 20% down payment myth. And I'm sure you're well aware, there are numerous down payment assistance programs. I mean, I can tell the stories of the buyers that I've put into homes with $200 or $300, out of their pocket. So if that's you're sitting at home or you're renting and you're thinking, there's no way I can buy a home, I'm here to tell you we can make that happen for you, right?
I agree.
Everybody
100%.
agrees.
And rent versus buy right now. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's crazy. Rents are going up at a faster rate, I think, than home prices.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense if you are in the position to buy to not buy right now.
And I think what goes along with that is just a misconception, and what you kind of touched on is I have to have that 20%.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that, 3%, that you can do that.
3%, 3.5%. Literally, I put people in homes with $200.
Yeah.
With a good agent, that can negotiate your contract correctly, and using some of the down payment assistance programs. Can everybody qualify? No. But can a lot more people than you think can? Yes. And there's some great free money out there. And if you qualify, if you have more down payment or don't need to use those programs, all the better. There's such great numbers for you. So, just please call us, do it now. Look into the opportunity to buy something and get out of that renter pool. You'll be glad you did, as a lifetime investment. So let's get off of that subject, because I beat that up every week, and I get people call me and we talk about how to make that happen, and I want to encourage people to do that. But Andrew, you've got such a kind of a unique proposition with your idea of thinking differently, and the creativity that you bring to that process. And one of the things we were talking about, but as we were preparing for the show, was you brought up just the process of buying a home and comparing it to buying a car. And I'd love to talk about that for a little bit, because that was kind of new and fresh for me, and I think people will relate to that. You want to start that?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that, Tom. I always think from the consumer, because we're professionals. We do this day in and day out. Right. And the consumer, they do this according to the National Association of Realtors every 9 years now. Right. So
they're not experts at it.
They're not experts at it whatsoever. So the one thing that people probably do buy more than anything else are vehicles, cars. And, we try to make it very relatable and easy to understand. Now, I can share with you just from personal experience buying a car just this past July, and another one for my wife, back in October. It's a huge difference. And I bring that up because we think about our biggest purchases.
Right.
And first one typically is what? Your house, right?
Your home.
And the second is more than likely your vehicle, your car that you drive. And there's no particular order that those go in. However, I would say a huge majority of the population buys a car first before they ever buy a house.
Sure.
It's just kind of nature of the beast. At any rate.
A rite of passage.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of build up. And when we were looking at buying cars, I found it to be quite interesting. Not to bag on any particular dealership, but I would go in and they would want me to test drive. And obviously I had no doubt that I could qualify for a car payment, because I just recently bought a house in the last year prior to that. At any rate, what I'm trying to get at is they kind of take you through this process, test driving cars, and then they can see if you can qualify to actually buy the car. And in real estate, it's the complete opposite. And that's where a lot of consumers come in and they're like, well, I want to see a lot of cars, or mere phrase, see a lot of houses.
Right.
And before I, talk to a lender. And that's all they know. Especially if you're a first-time home buyer, you've never really bought a home before. This is a process. And I think where the car dealerships fail is, God forbid, you get really emotionally attached to a car and you find out you're not able to buy it. You're pretty devastated. I mean, there's a lot of brokenness, a lot of embarrassment that comes out of that as well. And, again, that's the difference between buying a house and buying a car. Buying a house, you sit down with the lender first and see if you can actually buy a house instead of going out there and wasting your time, the real estate agent's time, and more importantly, if we can be entirely honest, the homeowner's time, because you're inconveniencing them for an hour to 2 hours when you're looking at homes. And we represent sellers, and I just recently sat down with a couple last week. They said that they were frustrated. Their home didn't sell, and they had 40 showings. And, what's really sad is we don't even know if those people were qualified to buy a home.
Right. All of these people who traipsed through their home that they prepared it for, that they spent time and effort in making their home available to.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's like, I have to be out of my house for almost the whole day. I have to go watch a movie or go to the library. I don't want to do that stuff. So there's more, there's more dimensions, more layers to this than the consumer/buyer knows when it comes to this.
Yeah, and I think most really good agents like yourself would don't allow that to happen. You teach the process to be successful in that real estate transaction and to get them through it in the least pain and effort that's possible. Yes, you will go visit several homes. Maybe it's 10 or 20, or maybe it's 3.
Mm-hmm.
But even before you start that process, going out and doing it without knowing what it is you could possibly buy is just insane.
Yeah.
It's just wasting your time. If you can certainly, browse the internet for homes all you want, but to get out there and really shop without having that information is kind of crazy. And the interesting part of that is, most buyers, I can get them pre-qualified or give them a pretty darn idea of what they're going to qualify for in about a 15-minute conversation. Now, does it take a little longer than that if they're more complicated? Yes. But to give them the basics of how that process works, it's really 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour of their time, and hopefully we can collect some documentation to back that all up before they get to the offer writing stage. But it's not a 6-month process, typically, to find out where they stand.
And then you know what you're looking for. I mean, you're refining your searches. You're going to the homes that are in your price range and getting what you really can qualify for and what fits you.
Yeah,
and that's part of the process for us. Is we sit down with our clients and we go over what we call the 20-point buyer presentation, which educates people on how to get a really good deal during the process, and just step by step we tell them what to expect, so there's no surprises. Because again, let's just go back. This is the largest purchase of their life. I just kind of let that sink in for just a minute. Largest purchase of your life. And it's a huge decision. And we want you to be fully educated on this. And if you're not, man, you're going in with blinders and you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. 500,000, 400, whatever that amount is, just fill in the blank. It's a big chunk of change, for sure. So again, we're all about educating, making sure that you fully understand it, because we consider ourselves to be consultants, where that means, particularly for the consumer, our clients, is we're going to give you all the info, then you make the decision. We're not big proponents on the salesperson, very pushy. That's just who we are. That's where that part of thinking differently kind of comes in.
Yeah, you just talked about the 21-point buying process or whatever. I mean, obviously don't want you to go into all of that, but can you kind of give a couple examples of what you're going over?
Absolutely. The first thing is we kind of let you know first off that like I just shared, we're consultants. We're not salespeople. We then kind of transition and we talk to you about the market, what's going on, because you're going to want to know about that, because it's really important to know, what is the average list price to sales price ratio, and what that looks like. What does that mean? We explain all that. Then we talk about the benefits of pre-approval versus a pre-qualification, because there is a difference.
Absolutely.
And Tom, you can speak to that vividly. And we also transition. We go over and talk to you about the benefits of buyer's agent like me versus maybe like a transaction broker or a seller's agent working directly with the seller, because there's just kind of a myth around that as well. Talk about for sale by owners. We talk about new home builds, open houses. We then kind of transition and we talk about, we kind of gloat a little bit in a good way, and just share with you how many homes we show on average to our clients. Because if we're really good at our job in listening, and I'm saying that slowly on purpose, if we're able to listen to you, we should be able to take you directly to the house that you're looking for and not waste your time. Because that's what we're most, that's what we're most concerned about.
And I totally agree with that. That selection process shouldn't be 50 homes.
No.
If you're really hitting it on the head of what they're looking for. Now, you certainly get buyers that aren't sure what neighborhood they want to live in, and
certainly.
checking out different areas. But
Correct.
If you're looking at 20 or 30 homes and not finding anything that makes you happy, you're looking at stuff that is not being well selected for you.
And if I can be just even more frank, if I showed 20, 30 homes, you should fire me because I'm not doing my job. I'm not listening to you, because, again, this is a process about the clients, not about us whatsoever.
Yeah.
And our average is 6 homes. We show 6 homes on average before our clients find the right one. Because, again, we listen. Yeah. And there was, I can think of one particular story right down the street from the studio. Very first home I showed was a $900,000 home. and the wife was really upset at me. And you're probably wondering, why is that? She goes, Andrew, it's taking me longer to pick out purses than to pick out this house. She goes, I want to look at at least 6 houses before I make a decision. I was like, this is your house. And then what ended up happening, she ended up buying that house that I showed her.
That's great.
So, it's, again, just listening to you, period. Comes down to it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It pains me to listen to stories of people who spend 6 months or a year. I talked to a customer today that had looked and swore he was going to find a deal. And, deals are, a true discount deal is pretty hard to come by in the Denver market.
Yeah, and
right now. It just really is. And, a year later, he still has nothing. And he refuses to take my advice to put him together with a truly talented agent. And he's still sitting in his rental, and he's well qualified, and I don't know what to do with the guy.
Yeah, and
you got to help yourself.
And what I've been telling clients is, sadly, that train has left the station.
The deals train definitely has. There's no question. We're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna come back, and Andrew's gonna share with us, what do you need to do to qualify that real estate agent that you're going to select to work for you. I don't want you to miss that. Come right on back. Talk to you soon. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Denver. I'm your host, Tom Souther, and I want to give you a chance to write down our off-air number, because I would love to put you together with our guest, Andrew Arevalo, with the Ingenious Group with Keller Williams down in Highlands Ranch. Andrew's been in the business for 100 years. I love new agents. I've said this a million times. I love the energy. He's been in the business 5 years, very successful, built a great team to support him and support your business. So I'd love to put him together with you, and please write down this off-air number so you can give us a call, and I'll put you together. 720-515-1818. Again, 720-515-1818. So again, I'm here with Andrew Arvevalo with the Ingenious Group with Keller Williams, and I'm also here with Evan Harris, founder of partner of Homestead Title. Evan, feel free to jump in.
I'm here.
All right, I'm just giving him grief because we sometimes have to force him to talk to us. Jump in. So Andrew, we left last segment just talking about how this house purchase is so different than other major purchases in your lives. And, one of the things that you brought up when we were preparing for the show was, how do people select that right agent? And, high quality agents, there's a lot of them in the market. I'm not going to tell you there's just a couple, but there's a lot of them, but there's a lot that aren't. And I think you came up with some really great questions that you feel people should ask their agent to find out, are you the right one to get my house sold, or are you the right one to help me buy? So let's go through some of those, and why are they important? Why should your customers ask these questions?
Absolutely.
Of their agent?
So, anytime that we sit down and talk to people about listing their home for sale, and they want to interview another agent, we're totally fine with that.
Sure.
We want to make sure that, they're making the right decision. And after I give them these questions and they ask these questions to the agents that they're interviewing, I can be honest, they always call me back because it's just really easy for them after I go through these line of questions. In fact, I tell them, you'll know instinctively. And I had one lady in particular in September, it was actually end of August, who called me back 5 minutes after she had spoke to that other agent. So it was kind of a record breaker because I think she just knew, automatically what was gonna unveil.
Well, one of the things we talked about on a prior show is people are so driven to use that friend, that neighbor, that cousin, brother,
family member,
whoever,
fill in the blank,
that is, they sell real estate. They're a real estate agent, and maybe they're part-time or maybe they're whatever, and this is, again, as you so eloquently put, the biggest transaction they're probably going to make in their life.
Right.
This is not something you want to hand over to because you happen to be related to, your cousin. Yeah. You want the person who's going to get you the biggest return from that investment. So, I'm not saying don't talk to the cousin, but you shouldn't be afraid to tell them, I'll interview you, I'll give you a shot at my business, but I want to get the best I can, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna interview several.
Yeah, and you owe it to
and
yourself.
let the dice fall where they may.
Yeah, you owe it to yourself because I always tell clients, you don't owe me anything. You don't owe your cousin, your neighbor,
Right.
anything at all. You do owe yourself the very best.
So, what are some of these questions that you think that people should ask?
Absolutely. The first question I think that is probably the most important, and you're probably wondering why, is what is the average number of days your listings are on the market before selling? And what that kind of means is how long are your homes on the market before they sell,
Right.
in essence. And
What's my expectation that how fast are you going to sell my home?
exactly. And I can tell you my statistic versus the average realtor out there right now, average days on market for us is 6 days. 6 days. So, we're pretty in tune to what's going on, and we do a lot of aggressive marketing of the homes. The average days on market for the rest of the Denver metro area for all the other realtors is close to 40. So, that's, a month and a half versus a week.
Wow. Significant.
So, it's drastic.
Yeah, and in this market, that's about many things. It's about how do you price, and what marketing do you have, and that whole array of services that you're going to talk about through these questions. But yeah, can you sell my home in a timely fashion?
Absolutely.
Cool.
And it's so important. You really have to ask that question. You really, really do.
And understand what those numbers mean.
Absolutely.
So what's next?
Another question that I always, tell people that, this is really important is, are you a full-time or part-time agent? And are you going to be my waiter and my agent?
Nah, I know what you're saying.
No, I do this full-time. We had the privilege, let me rephrase, I had the privilege of helping 41 families last year. And it's because I'm a full-time agent. I'm not doing any side jobs at all. This is my focus. And, a lot of the people that decide to work with us, they can see that, hey, I see your passion. I love your energy. As you mentioned before, believe it or not, I'm only 27 years old. And I had the drive, and I just love doing this. I really, really do.
Well, and I'd love to talk about that for a second, because I don't think success in this industry is defined by how old you are. It's about how you see the market, and it's about, do you embrace the changes that have happened in how things are done in this marketplace. And I think there are many, many young agents that outperform people who've been in the market for 30 years because they're doing things a little differently. They're embracing technology or whatever that is to make sure that your home gets sold in 6 days on average.
That's right.
So, youth is not a bad thing in this market as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I was also going to bring up, you talked about earlier when we were preparing for the show here that you have a team that you work with. You want to talk about them?
Yeah, that's one of the great things.
One of the questions that you would have them ask as well.
Yeah, exactly. Are you part of a team?
Sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, Evan. We see huge, tremendous value in that because we can specialize in that one area. For example, we have an investor specialist on our team, and that's all he does. So if you're thinking about buying an investment property and you go to a jack of all trades who's juggling all these balls, contract dates, listing appointments, showing appointments, the list goes on and on. How can they make time for you? And that's where we kind of saw there was a big gap there. There's a lot of teams out there. I don't know if they're as busy as us, though. That's all. Yeah. Our investor specialist is just nonstop busy with our investors. We have 5 investors that are buying a property right now like crazy, whatever property there is available, mind you. So it really benefits our clients in the long run to have.
And your listing specialist, buyer specialist. Yeah, you have all the different.
Yeah, we have all those different tiers to kind of cater to the specific client, and this is a lifelong relationship with our clients. What I didn't share with you guys in our preparation is that we just recently had a client party, tremendous turnout, and a lot of people were surprised how many people were there. We had, honestly, close to 100 people there, and we catered the entire event, gave away some gift certificates, and it's just to show people, how much we appreciate them, and got to get together and catch up a bit. So we'll kind of go off that rabbit trail and back on to the questions.
Yeah, it's great. Just shows your passion.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think top-end agents that provide that level of service are going to stay in touch with you and be that agent for you for life.
Yeah.
And for your children and, everybody else that you can refer off to that agent. It's part of that game. To stay in touch and to do those kind of events. What other questions do you think are important on the list?
What's the average list price to sales price ratio in my area? So if you were to think about that, the easiest way, to visualize that is what are the homes for sale, and then what are they selling for, period, on average. And the reason you're going to want to ask that is, are they a good negotiator?
Right.
That's what it comes down to. And then you want to get more specific, like what's yours? What's the specific in my area? I mean, you can kind of trickle down so much to see if they're a really good fit for you. Because, if they don't know the answers to these, what I haven't shared is, if you don't know the answers to these, then you're probably not a full-time agent.
Not a full-time agent.
And you're not in the know.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Denver. We've got to take a little break here, but I want you to come back. We're going to give you more on how do you find that perfect agent. Don't miss a minute. Come right back. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Denver. I'm your host, Tom Souther. And I have with me Andrew Arevalo, who is a real estate agent. He's been in the biz about 5 years. Don't let that scare you. Oftentimes you think, gosh, you got to have 20 years. I do not buy that theory. It's all about how do you apply, the world today to that marketplace and be successful. And Andrew has grown a business from nothing to very, very successful in that 5-year period. And I'd love to put him together with you. Let's introduce Evan Harris as well. Evan with Homestead Title, one of the founders of Homestead. Homestead's a great success story in the marketplace.
Yes, thank you.
You guys started about the same time, 5 years ago. Both Andrew and Evan you're in not a 5 year into the title industry, but
yes.
5 years with this company. And Homestead Title is a great success story, and building from nothing in the worst possible time to start a company in this industry, and what people would say, Andrew, the worst possible time to jump into selling real estate.
Yeah,
5 years ago. What are you, crazy?
My mom and my dad were, "Are you sure you want to do this?
Are you insane?"
And I said, "Yeah, I'm a visionary, an opportunist. People still have to buy homes, still have to sell a house."
Well, I actually did kind of the same thing. I was in the mortgage business, but I wasn't helping consumers with their loans. And about 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I jumped back into doing retail mortgages, and I have not looked back. And many people said, "You're insane." But, I saw the exact same thing. I saw an opportunity to help people and to do something different, and to be something different in that marketplace. And it's been absolutely fantastic for me as well. I'm not 27 years old, and I've been in the industry for a long time, but I just moved from one facet to another. But anyway, we were talking about selecting that right agent. And no, before we go there, I want to do two things. One, I want to give our off-air number, 720-515-1818. Please call, text that number. Let me put you together with Andrew. Again, 720-515-1818. And then, Andrew, I want to give you the opportunity for you to give out your website, give out your direct number, things that people can do to get in touch with you directly, because this your website matches up with what we've been trying to say all day.
Yeah, our website, great user-friendly website, is buynowin5280.com.
Buynowin5280.com.
Yeah, that's buynowin5280.com. And our phone number's on there, just in case you want to write that down. It's area code 720-897-8100. Very easy to remember.
Perfect. And again, we're going to give out the show number by the end of the show. So if you want to grab a pen, if you don't have it handy, we'll make it very simple for you to get a hold of Andrew. Just you'll be able to text me, and I'll send you that info, or leave me a message, whatever technology works best for you. So anyway, we were talking about selecting that agent, and there's a number of things that I thought were important in that. You were talked about average days on listing. How quickly can that agent, on average, do they sell that home for you? That's vital information. You probably don't want an agent who is taking 120 days to sell homes, particularly in this market. Now, everything varies based on home size and price range in the marketplace, but the typical heart of the market, if their average is 45 days, they've got a pricing issue or they've got some issue going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That doesn't get homes sold.
Yeah, in fact, just yesterday spoke to somebody down the street who's with their homes for sale with a different company, and I said, I'm just being a neighbor and a professional at the same time. Your home is overpriced by $20,000, and he goes, yeah, we just got an offer $20,000 below our asking price, and I said, that's what it is. That sums it up.
Yeah, and during the frenzy of last summer, we can have 100 different agents argue 100 different strategies, but I think the ones that were maximizing their listings were actually coming in maybe a little low and generating some bidding frenzy,
create an auction effect,
versus going high and working their way down. That drives those buyers away because people are smart in this marketplace, and their agents are smart about what the true value is of
people are very savvy these days. The average buyer looks at about 10 homes, and this is for every agent out there, and they have a pretty good sense, they have a pretty good thumb on the market. So if they see your home square footage is the same as another home that's $20,000 less, they're going to go with the other home. It's just they're smart, so you can't discount that at all whatsoever. So just want to keep that in perspective for sure.
So what other big tips do you have for people when they're interviewing an agent that they should ask?
Absolutely. I think I want to actually end on this one. This is actually the last question that I put on this list, and we share it again with everybody, is do you offer an quote-unquote easy exit, close quote, listing so that I can enter agreement if I am not satisfied?
So do you have an out?
Do I have an out?
If I don't like you for some reason,
if you're not doing your job,
whatever,
exactly. Do you?
Things happen, hey, my job changed and I've got to move out of town or whatever it is.
Yeah, like if they're not doing their job, this is what I tell people. If I'm not doing my job, you need to fire me. And if I can be honest, I've never been fired by.
I was going to ask you how many people have fired you. None.
And here's one of the reasons why is we give them an option. Hey, listen, we don't want you to feel like you're forced to work with us.
Stuck, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a terrible feeling. We're here for you. This isn't about us. How arrogant would I be if I can control somebody to do something? That's just bad. Because this is a do-with process, is what we like to share. We can only, succeed at a high level of success if we work together.
Right.
It's not one-sided here.
No, this is a partnership amongst many people to get the successful home done. Usually, and sometimes you have cash buyers, but usually there's a lender involved. There's, agents
title
on both
companies.
sides. There's a title company. There's an appraiser. There's all of these things. So it's definitely a team effort. And, I do the same thing with my customers. I have very few that ever walk away from me, but that process is very simple. We can move on at any time, and I encourage people to make sure they're getting every piece of information they need to make the right decision.
Absolutely. And again, this last question is so important because when they ask this to other agents that they're interviewing, I mean, I don't know the particular percentage, but I would say it's pretty high. They always say no. No, we don't offer that. And then it's okay, I feel tied down. You just made my decision that much easier. Thank you.
Well, we put you in a 3-month contract, or we put you in a 9-month contract, or 6 months, or whatever that time is, and at the end of that thing, you can get out. Well, the world changes sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree, 100%.
I hear you. All right, well, let's put those to bed. And, some of the things we talked about earlier, I don't know if you're prepared to talk about stats a little bit and some of the things that are going on, and I'd love to spend a little bit of time really on that southeast section and get specific to those neighborhoods. But throw at us what you will on what you think are important for stats wise, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. This is statistics as of today. I mean, this is up to date information I'm pulling directly from our broker website. So this is not fluffed up by any means. We can show you the search
Nor
criteria.
are they a month old.
No.
These are live. I'm watching him pull these up on his little handheld device as we speak.
Absolutely.
Not to plug Apple or anything else.
So as of today, for the entire month of January, there are only 4,478 homes for sale in the entire Denver metro area. Now, a lot of people kind of get that confused. What is the Denver metro area? What I consider to be is the 6 major counties. That's Adams County, Arapahoe, Broomfield, Denver, Douglas, and last but not least, Jefferson County.
Right.
So Boulder County, that's different. That's a different breed, what we consider to be in the real estate business. Colorado Springs, completely different as well.
Different number. Yep.
Yeah, so just keeping that in perspective.
So that sounds like a big number.
It's actually, strangely enough, it's not. Now, the most recent census data tells us that close to 4 million people live here in the Denver metro area. That's a big number.
That's a big number.
That's a huge number.
So how does that number compare to last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago? This is what's incredible about that number, which actually is incredibly
it's
small.
Stunning. Yeah.
Stunningly small.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you asking that. So compared to 3 years ago, January of 2011, there were 23,000 homes for sale in the entire Denver metro area. Now, the rule of thumb is less competition typically means more money.
Right, higher prices.
Higher prices, right. So there's just no homes for sale right now. And let's just think back again 3 years ago. Do you remember seeing home for sale signs on pretty much every corner when you were driving?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely. And right now, do you see any?
Not as many, no.
Not as many.
It's a ghost town, it seems like.
The staggering thing is that number keeps getting smaller.
Yeah, so last month.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, so just take a look at this. Last month, 5,200 homes were on the market. That's 800 difference in just a month's time.
Right.
Now, obviously, we're not all the way through January, mind you.
We've got the holidays in there, and there's other stuff going on, but still, those numbers are ridiculously low.
I mean, looking back even in September, there were 11,000.
Yeah.
Then October, 9,000. November, 6,000. So, it is what it is. And I kind of, just based off this right here, I'm seeing that this number's going to stay here. These numbers are going to stay here. Demand's going to be high.
Yeah, I think demand's going to stay high. And, as rates go up, those prices climb, and you end up getting less home for your money.
Yeah, either you're going to pay yourself or you're going to pay the bank, period.
And it sounds like, gosh, well, these numbers are so small. How could I possibly be successful?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of ways to look at this. If you're selling, oh my gosh, you moving into a pool that has no competition.
Certainly.
So that is a great thing. And then the trouble becomes, okay, how do I find my next place?
Sure. And that's the big fear right now. I just want to call that out and acknowledge
absolutely.
that. Now, I always tell folks that we're helping, let's not put the carriage before the horse, because it typically takes 30 days to close on a home if you're financing it,
sure.
right? And what we've done creatively is we've actually have coached clients to try and push it back 45, 60 days, because you got to be able to find a replacement home. In addition, do a rent back. That's a great opportunity.
To lay it out.
And in fact, I got a text message today from a client. House went up on the market that they really want to buy, and called the agent. The agent said, "We're not going to entertain your offer unless your home is at least under contract." I mean, because they have to sell their home to buy this next one. The homeowner texted me back and said, "I guess we have to sell our house and rent until we find that right home." I mean, that's just the way it is right now.
Sure.
And again, with that being said, that's about 4 months' time as well.
And again, it becomes, how can you creatively put yourself in that situation to be successful in that transaction?
Yeah.
Both selling and buying.
Yeah, and that's how we do it.
It's not as, cookie cutter as it once was, 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
And
let your professionals insert that creativity into the transaction for
Absolutely. And again, that is, in essence, really kind of gives you 3-4 months. If you want to do a 60-day rent back, by all means, you're able to do that. That's 4 months right there with the 60-day closing.
Yeah, and just what's happening in the Denver market. I mean, how hot the Denver market is compared to nationwide. I don't think the publicity has been out there quite as much as it needs to be here. I mean, it is a seller's market in my opinion, and now's a great time to sell. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And it's when people do find out, it's going to be too late. So
It's always too late, right?
It's risk versus reward. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
So to kind of jump in more to specific to the more specific cities.
We've got just about 30 seconds.
Sure,
So jump
absolutely.
into these fast.
In the entire city of Littleton, for sale, 244 homes.
Wow.
That's from $0 to name your price.
All right, we gotta break this up. I want to thank Andrew Arevalo for coming in today with the Ingenious Group with Keller Williams. I encourage you, let's call the show 720-515-1818. Let me put you together with Andrew. Again, 720-515-1818. We'll see you next week.